No, it wasn't on. Hold on. Turn the mic on. Welcome to the Clutch Sports Media 365 Patriots Blitz. It's Jay's perspective. Guys, the meltdown in Foxborough. I didn't want to have to come here and do this. But, guys, we got to talk about it. Welcome back to the Patriot Blitz, the only show that tells it like it is, even when it hurts. It hurts. Oh, it hurts so bad. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I'm Jay's perspective. Today's episode hits like snow in December. Cold, unexpected, and a reminder that football doesn't care how big your lead is. That's a fact. I don't care what you do. December football hits different. I've been around here long enough to know this. And we're back at it. Thank you all for showing up tonight. You know, it's the Patriot Blitz, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Everything Patriots, everything. I'm Jay's perspective. Welcome back. I thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you for coming through. This is still New England Patriots. Please like, follow, and sub up to the channel. And remember, go Pats. We're not turning our backs. No, we run to the... Wait. Up. Do I have to really start? Can I get a wait? Can I wait for it? Can I wait for it? Can I please? Please. In my James Brown voice, please. Apparently not. They don't want me to. Management saying, go. Okay. Guys. This is the meltdown in Foxborough. Buffalo Bills 35, New England Patriots 31. Pats up 24-7 at halftime. Up 21-0. And then the second half happened. Oh boy. I was streaming that game. Thank y'all who participated in watching. I appreciate you. I really do. I do. But guys, what a heartbreak to watch as these guys had a lead against a division rival who has ran the division for the last 5 years. They had it for 5. They ran it for 5. And then we had opportunity this year. And we still do. I mean, we're not done. It's not done. It's not done, son. But it does give us time to reflect on how things turned out. And I must say, it hurt. This one hurt. Not as bad as losing 2 Super Bowls to you know who. But this one hurt, folks. Hold on, let me get back up here to what I'm possibly doing with my line. Hold on. Wait. Turn on my... Okay, this is still on. Good. All right. Here. Camera. There we go. All right. So, guys, as you see on your screen, this is the Patriot Blitz. Salute to my graphics. We're touching up the artwork every chance we get, guys. Welcome to the Clutch Sports Media Patriot Blitz. I'm your host, Jay's Perspective. And yes, it hurts. Yeah, Ugly. 35-31. Up 24-7 at the half. 21-0. And then there was the second half. Then came the second half. It's a division rival. That's what I kept telling myself. I kept saying, it's a division rival. They're desperate. They're more desperate than we are. They were more desperate than we were. However, no excuse. No excuse. Yeah, no. But when I say there's a good loss and a bad losses, well, this was a good loss because you needed this. You needed to get smacked. It hurt. Damn, it hurt. But when I say it had to happen. Let's get the score out of here first. Bills 35, Patriots 31. Buffalo rallied from a 21-point hole and outscored New England 28-7 in the second half to steal this one right out of Gillette Stadium. Took it and ran away with it. They were desperate. Have you seen Buffalo the last few weeks? Yes. They've been everywhere. They've been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and yes, they needed something. They needed this one more than we needed this one. Yes, it would have been a hat and shirt game, but I digress. It's not about what we could have did. It's about what we actually did. Okay. Don't worry. I'm listening to the AFC East Roundtable. Shout out to Dan, Richie, and TD. TD's the only one I'm gonna talk about. But the Dan and Richie, Josh Allen 3 touchdown throws. James Cook 2 rushing TDs and 1 receiving TD. The Patriots' big early lead evaporated. It didn't even look like we did it. It didn't look like nothing. Like what this happened? That whole game, I was saying as we were streaming, I'm like, I don't trust the Bills. I don't trust them. I kept saying I don't trust them, and it's a reason why I did not trust the Bills. My son was in. He was like, man, it's Buffalo. I'm like, I know it's Buffalo. That's why I don't trust the Bills because they have been coming through clutch lately, and after watching them against Cincinnati, I was like, whoa, this could be different. This could be different. But this is where it gets ugly. Drake made under 200 passing yards held in check in the second half. Travion Henderson still cooked with a long touchdown run early. Bills bench never quit. Allen just kept slicing until the game flipped. I mean, that was the game where you could say if you got exposed, you got exposed. It wasn't week 3 with the 5 turnovers against the Steelers. It wasn't week 1 against those Raiders. It was week 15 against division rival Buffalo Bills. Salute to them. They won. They did what they were supposed to do. They came into a hostile environment and they shut it up. They did their job. I can't be mad at them bums. But I'm not sold on it. We still have a chance. Balls in our court. We still have everything in front of us. We have the Ravens coming up on Sunday night, which that game will be flexed. Thank you for flexing the game. But we got the Sunday night against the Ravens. But before we get to that, let's just take it back to Sunday. Because I've heard all of the noise. Oh, my God. Damn. We gave up 21 points. Oh, God. The Bills ran through us. Oh, God. It's horrible. First half, Pats were in total control, guys. First half of the game, we were just doing what we wanted. Drake made 2 touchdowns. I mean, he was just finding his receivers. He was just, the line was doing their thing. I was shocked. But then there was a second half. And see, if we don't get that situation done, well, we could probably see this happen Sunday night. Because the Ravens, although they are struggling busing right now, I don't particularly trust that we'll do it. Now, Drake May and the Patriots came out firing quick strikes, explosive plays, tempo, and mayhem on the ground. Yes, we were getting to it. They're looking good. It's like, okay, go ahead, Pates. Go. Drake made 2 rushing touchdowns to open. Travion Henderson, a 52-yard touchdown run to make it a 21-0. The Pats felt like the AFC East champs in the second quarter. I was like, bring out the hats, bring out the shirts, let's go. We got this one. We put Buffalo away early, but if you watch what Cincinnati did the week before, well, you know Buffalo was not going away. And if you know about this AFC East, folks, they don't play. Division rivals, we do not. They just don't play. That was textbook execution. The run game established. The quarterback threat on the ground. Mental edge. But remember, football is a 60-minute game. Okay? A 60-minute game. And the fact that we had a meltdown. Yeah, I'm not holding my head down. Holding my head down with a thought. Because I do not like what I've seen. And I know Vrabes, I know Drake, I know all of the team players out there did not like what happened in the second half. I know this. I got the memo. I got the official website memo. I got the official Jay. Don't trip. I was like, okay. I wanted to end them. I wanted to bring the broom out and get the sweep. But okay. Now here where the story turned. Okay. Bills defense tightened up with the pressure and strategic cover shifts. They kind of started fooling Drake. They started pulling off this little McDermott. Up. Forcing the run, forcing off throws, forcing us to shoot our own self in the foot. Then there was a interception, but we got a call for pass interference. Bills defense tightened up with the pressure and strategic coverage. Pats offense went stagnant, stopped executing with the same rhythm. Penalties, field position swings, and mental lapses gave the Bills life. So here we go. When we say the offense went stagnant, that is the problem we've had, and we're trying to figure out, do we stop? How do we keep this motivation steady, even despite the opponent doing their best to stop us? The Bills, they were trying. Now Buffalo took the lead for the first time in the third quarter. Then they excuse me. Then just when it looked like the Pats might answer, Buffalo answered back again. So even after Travion took it and ran it down and scored, then here goes the Bills go down the field. See, that is the problem. The defense just where did the defense go? Guys, you got to be able to stop. And the defense was not I mean, there were so many letdowns in that game, but that was your official test because you remember all week for the last 2 weeks we heard, oh, they ain't played nobody. They got an easy schedule. So when we finally do play somebody that's caliber and the Bills, that with that higher energy, just this is what the outcome is. And now people are ranting about, oh well, they're not built like that. Okay. Second half adjustment. Bills. Allen and Cook kept picking lanes. Dawson Knox became a reliable chain mover. Buffalo out-executed in key moments and made plays when it mattered most. Gotta tip your hat to those damn Bills. They found holes. They made sure they pressed the line with the run game because normally Buffalo gives up the run. They normally give up the run, but this time, guys, they stayed with it. They didn't give it up. Drake made explosive early, couldn't keep pressure off Buffalo in the second half, under 200 yards. First game being under 200 yards passing for the day. First time this season he did not pass for 200 yards. That is where we're like, this is what happened. This is what I was worrying about. I don't want to. Didn't want to see that. But pass defense couldn't slow down the comeback. Bills marched into rhythm and stayed there. They found the rhythm and they just walked it down the field. They just took their time and executed, and they got away with it. They did their thing. I respectfully have to give it to them. They did it. So they kept us under 200 yards passing. They tried their best, and now they're all la. But really, 11-3 when we weren't even supposed to be 11-3. Let's get into that part before we even finish with the rest. Let's get into that part. We were 4-13 last season. We had pieces. Our line is banged up. We got duct tape line. Defense, there's issues, but not really. However, no joke. Once the Bills started scoring, the Patriots couldn't find an answer. Football is momentum, and the Buffalo had seized that momentum in this game. They actually took advantage of that. And hats off to them again because they fought to get back in there. We already knew from watching Cincinnati, watching that Pittsburgh game. Let's go back to the Houston game when they got dominated by that defense. If we weren't able to get Josh Allen to the ground, if we weren't able to take away the run game, then it was going to be a long day at the office. And that was proven Sunday, folks. Because number one, that's what happened. They were able to find a rhythm, and the Patriots, at the second half of that game, where did they go? This is what happens. Now I'm not mad at them. But that's no joke. The defense couldn't slow down the comeback. And then Carlton Davis, bro, what are you doing over there? You make good play, but you also getting Marcus Jones. You catching penalties on the outside. It's not the Patriot way. It's just not going to work, guys. Now, what does this mean for New England, guys? Let's talk about what this loss does for the AFC, because it's not locked. The AFC East still isn't locked. Isn't locked. That shot at clinching gone. Patriots are still near the top, but Bills are right there at 10-4 and breathing down our neck. I wonder what that hot breath was. I don't like that. But they're right there. They're right on our backside. We're 11-3. They're 10-4. 10-game win streak snapped. You don't just hand a bullet back after you're ahead by 21. That stings. You don't take it out and say, here you go. What did you expect was going to happen? Let's talk about it. You gave it back to them, and the defense wasn't able to stop this. It wasn't. I think that's the most hurtful part of this whole blitz today, is that they were able to come back and slowly dissect us and just go down the field. And it was on display for everybody. Despite being an 11 o'clock game, an early game, it was a game that you had to win for. It's not even about the division. It's not about the hat and shirt game. It's the fact that we wanted to sweep. I wanted to sweep the Bills. We still have a chance to continue on our journey. We got the Ravens, the Jets, and the Dolphins. And guys, our 10-game win streak is snapped. But again, remind you, a lot of people didn't even think we would get a 10-game win streak. A lot of teams didn't even think we would be the team that you're having this topic of conversation about. And sorry for the rest of the NFL that you might suck, but we don't. And a loss to the Bills is a divisional loss. We lost to a divisional rival, and it sucks. It does. Learn or spiral. This is a crossroad moment. Good teams learn from collapses. Bad teams let it define them. The Patriots have some replay to watch, and it's fast because we have to travel to Baltimore. We have to take on the Ravens. Now, the Ravens, we don't know what Ravens team we're going to get Sunday night, because 1 minute the Ravens are blowing out Cleveland, the next minute the Ravens are getting beat by the Steelers. And you're like, what is this? Oh my God. Now listen. This is quotes and locker room vibes. Drake May said it bluntly. They made more plays than we did in the second half. I respect that from my dude. Number 10, I appreciate that. Mike Verbal didn't sugarcoat it either. Disappointed, not discouraged. That's the right vibe. You got to use this to fuel this, to make you focused and motivated to get to the next level, because guess what? This one loss does not define what the rest of your season is going to be like. This loss does not tell you that 10 games was a fluke. This is a divisional game. This is the Buffalo Bills, folks. They're not a slouch. They got Josh Allen. As much as I do not like the Bills, I got to give it to them. The Bills are the Bills. They refuse to die just like we refuse to die. And guess what? It's going to come down to some chaotic madness at the end of the season. And that's what you see from the Bills. They lost to Houston. They went and beat Pittsburgh. They beat the Bengals. And then they came up to Foxborough. And they said, oh, wow, y'all want to win the division? Well, guess what? We got a different one. I respect it. You know why? Because it's football. This December football. It's chaos. That's why I call it the meltdown. Because it was a meltdown. And I love Drake's point. He said they made more plays than we did in the second half. Made more plays than we did in the second half. Braves didn't sugarcoat it. Disappointed, not discouraged. That's the right vibe. I fueled in myself. But I was able to get over it because I thought Green Bay was going to take care of business against Denver. And, well, they did. So now, but I have to remind myself, we aren't actually supposed to be here. You know that? Think about that. The Patriots, a 4-13 team, are now 11-3 after a new coach, new offense, a line that is beat up and boot, and we're actually on the line for the division. Really? If you'd have told me that we had to lose this game and we would still be right there, let's do it. You know why? Because guess what? There's no such thing as a good loss, but this is a damn good loss because sometimes you need to get slapped. Pow. You need to get slapped. You need to slap. It needs to hurt. You need to realize that everything is not going to be easily handed to you, and the Bills are not laying down and rolling over and playing dead. I don't give if you want to have a T-shirt in game, and it's not. What's next? Patriots are still 11-3. We're still 11-3. We're still right here in the AFC East, baby. Then it's the Bills. We don't even worry about Tua getting benched and the Dolphins and the Jets. What the 11-3, they can rebound and still win the division, but this loss makes the road just a little bit harder because we have to travel on to Baltimore. Then we have to travel to New York and take on the Jets. Then we have to come home and close out with the Dolphins. We win the last two divisional games. Well, AFC East champions after the Buffalo Bills held it for 5 years. Onward they go. Up next is Baltimore, a physical matchup that will test the roster again. Won't be a lull, not after this collapse. It won't be. It won't be what it was Sunday. You could bet that. I promise you, it will not be like it was Sunday. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. We'll have to find out Sunday. But here's the brutal truth, folks. Pats gave up a game they should have closed out, but this team still matters. Still controls its destiny and still has a chance to make noise in January if it adjusts, responds, and learns. Final thoughts. Football doesn't punish you for making mistakes. It punishes you for repeating them. Championship teams finish games. Patriots had that in their grasp and let it slip. Though, pill, but real talk matters. We got there. We had it. I'm not gonna lie to you. We had this. You know what hurt is to watch it slip away, and not to be bought in, but to be all the way in. Like this is, we're back. We're back, and I don't care. But I refuse to be like, oh, wait a minute. They got us. Yeah, they got us. I gotta give it to them. They got us. They did. We gave up 21 points. We had our little meltdown. We can't. Honestly, you need a loss. You needed that. I would love to go on and have that 10 game, 11 game winning streak, and it was all good. But it just was not for us. It wasn't. So now here we are, 11-3, still in control of our very own destiny here. Have to take this show on the road, back to back, Baltimore and then New York, and then back home to finish out. And guys, I don't doubt that this is going to be our game. Like, I know we got this. However, will I like to got the sweep of the Bills? Yes, maybe next season. How about that? We're on to Baltimore. Like they used, like Belichick used to tell it. We're on to Baltimore. Next, we're on to Baltimore. Next, we're on to Baltimore. Next. So this brings me to our next thing. We're going to talk about. We're going to get to the press conference with the team. Hold on, wait. We're going to pull up the press conferences with the team, guys. Here we go. Hold up, wait. Pull up. Wait. Pull up. There we go. All right, here it is. All right. All right. My dudes. Goes. Here we go. Patriots. Here we go. Go Pats. Like, follow, and sub to the channel, everybody. And remember, it's still Go Pats. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. We got Drake Man speaking out. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get the volume.
Yeah, Coach T, it's awesome seeing him.
Oh, my goodness. There we go. Oh, God. Here we go. Hold up. Oh, boy. Here we go. All right. All right. So I got my boy Drizzy about to come up and give us his thoughts. We're on to Baltimore, man. We're on to Baltimore. We're going to leave the bad news where the bad news is. We're on to Baltimore. The Patriot Blitz, folks, thank y'all for tuning in to Clutch Sports Media 365. The Patriot Blitz Meltdown in Foxborough is this episode.
What's going on, y'all?
There it is. Drake May. Salute to Drake. And you're going to talk about those Ravens.
Yeah, Coach T, it's awesome seeing.
Oh gosh, hold on. We got a problem.
Okay. How are you? Mike, how are you? I'm great, thank you.
Oh no. All right, here we go, guys. Sorry about that. Let me get my press conferences back. I have the press conference. I want to bring up the press conference before we get up out of here. All right, so I'm trying to get my press conferences out of here for y'all. All right, here we go. Drake May and facing the Ravens defense. Facing the Ravens period. They're a tough challenge. They're going to be a tough challenge. I feel like it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, Coach T, it's awesome seeing him around. Anytime he's around, it brings joy to us. It brings joy to the locker room. It brings joy to see his face, see how he's doing, and just praying for him. And he's continuing to fight. And what a story! And
yeah, all right.
It's been something for
prayers
us to
up for
die
Coach
around
T,
and
man.
somebody to care about. And
prayers up
other
for
things
Coach T, man. Fighting that cancer, man.
Just props to him for see me in here a couple times throughout the year, and it's been cool to see.
Drake, I know he's obviously worked with the defense and is here when he can be. But do you guys have any kind of personal connection or something you talk about him with? Anything specific to your relationship?
Yeah, I got to know his son well. He was around training camp a lot, so I know he's a big hockey player, and it's been cool for Coach T just to someone on the defense side of the ball to be able to relate with in life. And we kind of told our stories, kind of to get to know each other early on in the year. And he had a great story and coming from his background, and I think he relates to players well. Everybody from that I've talked to from he was in Detroit and in Tennessee, everybody loves him, and he's easy to care about, and I think he'd be awesome to have around more. But obviously, he's dealing with things that are, like I said, bigger than football, and just looking forward to having him back whenever that is. And I think he's just brings joy to the locker room.
We were talking.
Like, follow, and sub up to the channel, folks. Make sure you hit that like button and sub up to the channel. Follow, please. I appreciate you. Let's go, Pats.
Yeah, obviously it stings. It stings when you don't come up on the winning side. But what I've tried to learn in this league is it's on to the next week. The next week's, just
we're on to Baltimore now.
The week before that, and it's every week's important and it matters. And just trying to play to my best ability and fix the things that I can fix and make plays and try to fix plays that I wish I had back and try to let it not happen again. But at the same time, I think there's some good things we did from last game, but also some things we got to improve on to be better down the road and be better against the Ravens this week. And we got a tough challenge, and they're a good defense, and they're a good football team with a great quarterback. So they're a tough challenge, and just trying to learn every week and store things in my memory bank to use them again down the road.
Right. I'm curious because you had your scheduled primetime games this season. This was one where you were taken out of the initial spot. You guys were in and moved to prime time where more eyes will be on you. Is there an extra level of excitement to know that they wanted you in that spot? They wanted the Patriots to be playing in that moment.
That's what you play for. That's what we're trying to play for many years down the road. Trying to be the team that people want to see at night, and people want to see when the only game on is us. That's what you want this environment to be. That's what you want the New England Patriots to be. Playing on night games that matter, and home playoff games, and that's what we're building towards and working towards, and that's one of the goals. So we're keep trying to get there and do whatever we can to get there, and to start some practice out here today and tomorrow, and each and every day. I think it's one of the tough things at the end of the thing is week 16, is trying not to battle and not kind of tailing off and taking shortcuts. Just try to, keep going and do things a little more, study a little more, do a little bit more after practice, just to try to make up for the 16 weeks that you put on your body, and know that these weeks are the weeks that you play the last 14 games for.
Drake, do you expect to see some of the things the Bills were successful doing to you, mostly in the second half? Other teams trying to copy that, and have you been working to kind of work out whatever those issues were?
Well, I'm sure teams try to do whatever other defenses try to do.
It's a copycat league, so yes.
Stopped us or felt like worked. So you try to not overlook that and realize that these teams are going to be who they are, and I've practiced all year long, but you never know until you really get out there and snap the football and see. But obviously we're trying to work on things that we can control and control on details, and me making throws and better ball placement and better decisions, and that's what we can control, and let the rest sort itself out.
Do you care about the MVP conversation?
The MVP it's obviously one of the big accolades for this league, and it's something that it's an honor as a player to earn their award, and I respect all the past MVPs. But I think at the end of the day, winning the Super Bowl is the biggest thing, and I think it's what kind of makes this league go is winning the big one, and that's what you work towards, and that's what this game's about. I love winning, and the personal accolades come with all that, but I'd rather win than win. Personal awards, and I hope people in that locker room. I know a lot of them feel the same way.
Thank you, Drake.
One more time.
Give us a scouting report on Amari.
Yeah, I played with him my last year in college. He's a great guy in the locker room. He's good on the edge. He's fast. He's played inside a little bit. He's played on the edge. Played inside at Florida State, if I remember, in college, and now he moved to the edge once he got to North Carolina. So I know he's with Vegas, and good to see him back. And I think everybody's just trying to see just to help us, whether it's on game day or throughout practice or whatever he can do. I know he's going to work hard, and I know he's got good work ethic.
Great. But when the long ball opportunity potentially is there, do you ever have to fight against your own tendency to to take a shorter, easier option?
Yeah, that's what I've been battling. Probably since college. Since college, I was more down the field, and it's not even trying to force that. It's kind of the offense I was in, and the backs weren't getting out. They were more blocking in college, so I'm just trying to take the plays that the defense gives me and realize that moving the chains and being in 2nd and 4 versus 2nd and 10 is better. So just challenging that, but at the same time you got to keep the defense on his toes for not squatting on routes and let them know that we can hit one overhead.
Going back to the design routes in the red zone last week, just how did that kind of come about? And how do you feel about doing that a little bit more moving forward?
Yeah, we tried them previous weeks. They just haven't worked, as well as they did on Sunday. So it's something that makes it even down there when when it gets tight. It's 11 on 11, and it's something that you can gain extra hat versus me just handing it off and watching. So it's something you can use, but also you got to be smart. These defenses are good, and these guys are smart and know. So these coordinators. So just there's a time for it, and there's a time. I think, like I said, you can get extra hat and make it even.
As someone who expects a lot of himself to help his team, how do you balance the expectations you have versus the understanding that every player has limits?
Yeah, limits. I think you expect a lot of myself. I think that's the biggest thing. You expect to show up in in big games. You expect to show up when the team needs you, and that's what I hope everybody in the locker room feels. When pressure's on you, you want to play within the system and play within the scheme and use your teammates around you. I've been trying to do that as much as I can because those guys are around me are great players, and realize that you don't do it by yourself, and that's a motto in life. You don't do things by yourself. You got people around you in your life that can help you and help you get to your goal and that think the same way and that want to win. And I think it's when the pressure is on and you don't have to play outside and try to make a hero play. Just make a winning play.
Drake, just sort of a two-part question, I guess, but the Ravens, are they still kind of a man-heavy team? It feels like they have been in the past. And for you guys, when you've seen man, especially lately, how do you feel like you guys have handled that?
Yeah. I mean, I think, me stating something that I know they'll probably watch it and see if they're a man or zone team or not. We'll know they'll play man sometimes and play zone. So I'm not trying to give out my answer of what I think they'll do. But I think, they play some zone and they get eyes on the quarterback really well, and they got some guys on the outside that have played man, and guys on the inside, safeties, they mix around. I know 14's a great player. 44 has played a long time and played at a high level. I know played the other corner in college, Wiggins. So they got some great players out there and do a lot of different things and get the eyes on the quarterback, make plays on the football. And know when they do play man, we just got to win at the top of the route. I think our guys have done that and shown that and make contested catches and me, work on ball placement. And if we do expect man, which I think we will, when you get down in the late of the season on third down in the red zone, you're going to see man. Teams are going to play man, and you got to be able to handle that and win routes and be able to win versus man is this league, and that's why those guys, those receivers, get paid and get paid to do that. So I work on ball placement for me, and just trying to find the open guy.
I think Trevion on Trevion's touchdown run last Sunday, Next Gen Stats had you timed at just under 21 miles an hour. Have you ever hit that?
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I ever hit 20. But no, I just try to get down there. I'm always a little faster when somebody's chasing me or I'm trying to get out in front of somebody. So I think Trevion would have scored anyway. Just I don't know if he really needed my block. So just felt like I could try to go and help in any way. And I was trying not to get in the way, which was probably close to that. So thank you guys.
How are you? How are you?
Well, this is Mike Greenberg, and I'm going to end this with Mike. After Mike, we're going to end this episode of the Blitz. But guys, just know the Meltdown in Foxborough is real. We're back. We're on the ball tomorrow. Like, follow, and sub up to the channel, everybody. Please like, follow, and sub up to the channel. Thank you.
I
Go
think that
Pats.
what we try to do is we learn from every game, every opportunity, not just specifically the Buffalo game. There's a lot of instances throughout the year that we've learned from, and last week's game will be no different. And again, here as it relates to play calling, I think every time in every game, offensively, defensively, special teams, my decisions, there's always decisions that you want to have back, and how I could have made this better, whether that's as a player or as a coach. And I've said this for as long as I've been able to say it as a head football coach. There is no perfect play. There are good, perfect call. There are good calls, and there's not so good calls. And again, my reason for saying this is you don't want to have a call that gets in late. Those calls that are good they're in a timely manner. The personnel group is in there. The players have repped it. They've seen it. They know they have answers for things that they could do. They have answers for things that were unscouted, which occur in every game. And so we try to make sure that our calls that go into the players are appropriately that way. And then, we could always sit back after the game and say, hey, we could have done this a little differently. We could have called this again. So that's going to go for every win and every loss. We try to do it the same way as it relates to the playing and then our evaluation of what we call. So, there's a lot of opportunities for calls to be different. There's a lot of opportunities for the execution to be different. So whether the call stays the same or the execution, to that particular call. But, I don't think that there's anything that we would want to change or do differently. We don't get to do do-overs. I think we've had a lot of success, and we're going to try to get that same success on Sunday night.
Yes, sir. I like that.
Along the same line.
Good one, Grapes.
When Drake is throwing deep on 3rd and 1, happened a few times at least last week. Curious, first of all, how do you feel about that? And then is that like the design play, or is that Drake making a read?
No, we don't. We're trying to score. We're trying to do what we do best, and sometimes those aren't as short as you think.
We're trying to do what we do best.
Again, we're trying to pick up, first downs, and but also if they give us an advantageous look, take a shot. That's sometimes what we can do. I don't know specifically which ones you're referring to, but we'll have to use everything we can to really stay on track this week. That's part of the message here with our football team offensively, so that we're not in this danger zone of their pressures and when those things can really start to affect you. So we can stay on track, and if we're in short yardage, we'll have to have a great plan to convert this week.
Mike, following along the line of Karen's question a little bit, and I know the goal of every team is to win. It's the bottom line, and this might seem like a crazy question, but can a late season loss actually be good for a team going forward?
I would say that's TBD. I don't know. It's only depending on how you respond and how you prepare and how you practice and ultimately how you play. And so we'll see. There's a lot of good things in there, and we'll need all those things on Sunday night against this football team that is 6-2 after their bye, and really coming off a big win last week and a dominant win.
How much do you enjoy coaching Derrick Henry? How big of a challenge is it?
I'll start in reverse. He's a huge challenge. He's a very unique player. Great speed, great power, strength. He's just a different body type than what what anybody would go against. And so it's
Forgot about Derrick Henry.
in that regard, they do a very nice job with their scheme. Different personnel groups and different run plan and styles of run and different run actions. So again, we know what he's about. Build speed and stiff arm and all that other stuff. He was very valuable, I think, to our success in Tennessee. Me personally had a great relationship with Derek. He was always there. Seemed like when we needed to play, he made it. And, he's a great teammate. Anytime that there was a message, he delivered that message in his own particular way. So again, he was somebody that I really valued in the 6 years that I was there with.
You've got a back-to-back faced quarterbacks, Mike, who are on a different tier in terms of their skill sets. How similar is the preparation of different players in this? Yes.
Whatever, Josh isn't going to matter on Sunday. This is about, Lamar and the Ravens and what he can do and his ability to stay patient and calm and then deliver the football or burst. I mean, he really scrambles when he has to. He's rarely feels like anybody's going to be able to tackle him until he's, ready to go down or to get out of bounds or to throw. That's kind of the mindset and what I see on tape. So that'll be a huge challenge, one that, we'll have to be ready for in multiple ways. And, but he's comfortable standing there in the pocket and then, more than capable to extend plays when he feels like he has to.
Mike, knowing how good they are situationally and have been for years, how does that change, if at all, the way you manage a game? Thinking they might be more likely to go for it on fourth down or be good once they kind of get in 2 minutes?
Well, we always are kind of conscious, I think, of when teams are kind of in that 4 down area, and then, 2 minute, it's, being able to apply enough pressure in a timely fashion that doesn't allow the quarterback to scramble and to gain big chunks. And, so again, we'll have a plan for 2 minute and, obviously be ready and prepared for the times that they attempt to go for it on fourth down.
Like, where'd you guys look at that? At least Chad Noma was when you brought him. I'll take it. What'd you like about Chad Noma?
That was about as synced up as we've had this year. That was
a fight. It was a good battle.
That was,
wouldn't relent. They didn't even hear each other.
I couldn't hear it.
I heard Chad Muma and then I heard something. I don't know.
I guess I won.
You won.
So what'd you guys like about Chad Noma?
I think he's played in this league again. We get down to this time of the year where, you got to find some guys that have played in games and, that you could use in fourth down and kicking game and, good speed, good ability to process and understand what's going on. And so I think his experience helps and obviously what he can do and how quickly he can learn.
Like their defense, there was a lot of talk earlier in the year. They were really struggling. It feels like the last 6 or 7 weeks they turned it around. What have you guys noticed on tape that sort of led to that improvement?
Teams aren't really running the ball on them, so they're forcing a lot of these games to be one-dimensional. Really good mix of veteran players and some youth. Really good interior players. They're just big. They're, Jones and Jenkins. And obviously they'll rotate other guys through there, but it starts with those two. I think Kyle Hamilton is one of the best players in this league just from a versatility standpoint and what he can do at the line of scrimmage covering. 34 career PBUs, 8 career sacks, plays nickel, plays safety, plays dime backer. So the versatility there is impressive. The playmaking ability is impressive. Humphreys is, if you're loose with the ball or you take a nap, he'll pull it out or he'll hammer it. Roquan Smith usually tackles the ball every time it's handed off. So they're playing well. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and it'll be a huge test.
Mike, how do you feel your passing game has performed against man-to-man coverage when you guys have seen that?
Well, I think that there's always opportunities for us to win in match coverage. I think that there's been times where we've won. Diggs won on third down, Mac won on an in cut. I don't have the numbers offhand analytically, but those are at least 2, and I'm sure that there's times we're in match that we're covered, and hopefully Drake can extend the play and cause some play extension or be able to scramble. So whatever coverage they're in, we're going to have to be able to have great spacing and route detail and zone, and then be able to have answers when we do get matched.
I'm curious, what did you see as the issues potentially in that second half with like James Cook and Josh Allen able to run the ball a little bit more?
Mhm.
How can you fix that going into having to face
Yeah,
the
a lot
ball?
of that just they push the line of scrimmage, and we have to be able to stay gap sound and be able to build a wall and again, when you get on the plus side of 50 sometimes in that short field position, they don't mind sticking with the run and going for it on fourth down, and can't let them run it in. And again, it's a huge challenge this week. I'm sure we'll see a lot of those runs that they did last week. See where we're at with them. That's usually what happens. So that's what I told the team this morning.
Mike, you have talked about Drake.
I thought Soph had the final question. Go ahead.
Thank you. You talked about Drake protecting himself as a quarterback and the importance of that. We saw him use his legs in the red zone as the season goes on and playoffs on the horizon. Do you feel that the balance of Drake extending plays with his legs may change a little bit?
You would have to ask Drake. I don't get to make those decisions. I don't have a remote control to say scramble or throw. And I just say that by continuing to develop that part of his game. And truthfully,
That's true.
being able to
That's
remain
true,
a passer,
Brad.
keep his eyes
That's
downfield,
true.
but then also, if it's not, then be able to go and get what you can get and take care of yourself. So those are the choices that he makes. Those are the decisions that the quarterback gets to make. And I think he's made some good ones. And again, hopefully he can continue to do that and progress and try to remain a thrower. Guys can come into his vision and we can get some of those things done. And then if they don't, then he'll have to get what he can get and get down or get out. Thanks.
All right, you heard it from Coach Vrabes. Vrabes said it. Vrabes said it, guys. I'm just keeping it all the way real. Vrabes said it. Hold on. Let's see who I want. Oh, here we go. Wait, I want this one right here. I want to get this
We got
one.
from
Yeah, I want to get this one. Before we go, guys, I got to get you up to date from the staff, from the guy.
Hi, Nicole. I knew you'd be here. No, let me just apologize to Nicole and everybody else. I'm sure I was boring as hell yesterday. And when you guys heard that the locker room was open, I don't blame you for wanting to take off. And I know you guys got a tough job to do, and it's hard to get those guys. So I apologize but I knew you'd be here today. So go ahead, Karen.
Mike, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for asking.
Good.
I love Vrabes.
Defense allowed touchdowns on 5 straight possessions.
Yep.
What do you have to do to get that unit back on track?
Well, it's not just that unit. I think the one thing that we've done in victory has been to play very complimentary. And I would say that to give the third-ranked offense the field position that they did is tough. It is tough. And again, we have to play better defensively. We have to play much better. We have to play much better in all 3 phases to beat good football teams or beat anybody. So again, we talked about getting the drive stopped. We talked about finding ways to create some turnovers and continue to hunt for turnovers and hammer and tip and try to have to knock it away from somebody and and then just figure out what we can do when they get down there to get the drive stopped with too many touchdowns on third down, where we had some positive plays and had everybody in tune and playing well and getting a stop and then giving up a touchdown on third down. So that's a long answer to say that I said we were disappointed but not discouraged, and there's a lot of good snaps of defense, but not enough, and good snaps of offense and not enough, and some good snaps of special teams but not enough, and give them a lot of credit. We knew that they weren't going to go away, and we weren't able to ultimately do enough there at the end of the game.
they had a big advantage in terms of time of possession.
Sure.
Did you feel like the defense was fatigued at all?
Again, that was, I mean, you just don't want to be out there that long against them and against a big offensive line, and that can kind of lean on you and wear on you. And, so again, that's the complementary phase that we talked about. That's the best defense against a good offense, is being able to possess the football. And, we didn't do that. We didn't do that in the second half. We didn't put drives together. We didn't convert when we needed to.
Mike, we really don't bring up special teams unless it's really good or probably really bad. The returns, even when you were doing well, the returns were there for Buffalo. Was it a structural, in looking at the plays, did Buffalo do something?
Oh, well, there was a new scheme that on the first one. And then after that, I thought,
fuck that new scheme,
we
Mike.
did a nice
Not
job
do that
against
shit.
the double team over there on the sideline. After the first one, I thought Anthony adjusted
Throw
really
that shit
well to
away,
that
Mike.
and made
That
it
shit
come
didn't
back,
work.
and we tackled it. And then then there's like a fit here and a fit there. And if they, this is not an indictment on the officiating. I know what this is. And if they're going to grab you and they grab you like this, and we stand there head to head and nose to nose with them, that's not holding. It's not holding in this league, and I don't want it to be. And so you have to do enough to cause restriction at the point of attack so that they see that, and it gives them a reason to consider throwing a flag. So we have to understand that, and we have to be able to shed, and we have to be able to, create restriction at the point of attack. And we didn't do that. And then so that they blocked us, and we were content with that too many times.
It was understanding, but Ramondre had the penalty after the play.
That's a bad decision.
What's the messaging to the team when things hit chippy like that?
That's bad decision. It's what I told them.
Bad decisions,
in the moment.
folks.
That's what I'll tell them again at
That
12:30.
loss, a lot of bad
Nothing
decisions.
else. It's what it is. He made a good play, good positive play. I don't think they did anything wrong. Hit him at the sideline and stood there, and we made a bad decision.
Looked like there was a wrinkle where they had an offensive lineman lead blocking on one of the kick returns. Was that a wrinkle you were expecting? And does that change your approach at all when you have a big man in the game like that?
Well, that's a copycat from earlier in the season. They hadn't shown that, but we have to be prepared for things that show up on tape, and being able to adjust. And again, that's been a strength of ours on the kickoff coverage. And that was a strength of theirs coming in. We knew that was going to be a challenge. A 98-yard touchdown against the Texans a few weeks ago, and we weren't good enough. And again, in that matchup.
Unexpected was what happened with Robert in the pregame warm-up, Spillane. Or was that sort of part of the plan, just knowing what he
Well, I just think it was just to see what we can get and see, whether he was going to be able to do it, or it was going to be in an emergency role. And there's not a lot of depth there outside of him, and could have had a few guys up, but didn't think that was really going to make an impact on the game day roster.
Okay, so we admit that.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting that be known.
Whether it's the sixth outside linebacker or the sixth receiver or the fourth tight end or whatever it may have been, I just didn't feel like that was going to make that much of a difference or a difference at all.
With Meltdown, obviously you guys have nice rotation of players. They've done a good job. You've mentioned Corey repeatedly. But does more of a burden fall, or do you expect more from Christian Barmore in terms of his playing ability?
Yeah, we expect that in this league, we've said this, that your best players have to play good for you to win. And
your best players have to play good for you to win.
Quarterback, we expect quarterback's going to have to play good for us to win. Whoever we consider to be our best players, they have to play good in this league. That's what this thing comes down to. So we'll continue to find ways to make production and get production and get stops and show everybody the good ones and the things that we need to improve on.
Mike, I was just curious, with the penalties you spoke of.
Same hat on, so.
I know. We planned it, actually.
Good.
Thought we'd switch it
Sorry,
on.
I hate to. I just was like, those are the same hats.
With you spoke about the penalties this morning on the radio. I'm just curious. It did seem like some of the players also didn't agree with some of the calls. Or what's kind of your message to them to keep their head in the game?
There's nothing that we can do. They see what they see. They call it the best that they can. I'm confident in that. We have to know what it is that they're looking for to call penalties. I think they have mechanics that they're looking for, and we have to understand that, and we have to play to that. That no more, no less, and the officiating or the penalties weren't the reason that we lost.
Okay, Nick, you guys talked about having a coordinated rush. Can you give us any insight as to what happened with the rush on the touchdown pass to Knox?
Yeah, it wasn't coordinated. It wasn't coordinated, and it was not executed properly. Coverage wasn't executed properly, and unfortunately, when you do that against a good player, they make you pay. Any mistakes that you make get magnified against an excellent quarterback.
2-minute drive at the end of the first half. Any thought to being more aggressive there, or was the how much did just eating up the clock play into your decision?
Well, I mean, we were trying to be aggressive. We were trying, and I don't think that we wanted to get going there and make sure that you get the first down, and then you kind of get rolling. And then the decision, we had 23 seconds. I figured they were going to reverse that. Wanted to keep the timeout in case of an emergency. We were already in field goal range. I figured that we could use the timeout in case something happens. You get a 10-second runoff, all those things. I think it's important that you keep that timeout when you can. Went with that decision. I thought, with 6 seconds and one timeout, I thought that was very well executed for Ramondre to break free there. I thought about taking a shot. And again, is it 6.1 on the clock or is it 6.9? I would hate to look up there and have a go ball from the 30-yard line and look up and have it be 0 and not 1 and then look like an idiot. So if it was 6.9, I would have taken a shot. If it was 6.1, I probably would have done what we did, if that makes any sense. And for any of you that are interested in the technology of football, they have considered that. It came up a few years ago that I heard about having the NBA clock, and this is where I think our fans would like it. I think the coaches would like it. Is there 11.9 and you don't have any timeouts, or is it 11.1? Can you get it clocked? So that was the conversation that we had, if that's what you're referencing. But other than that, I felt like we did a good job trying to get down there. Drake scrambled and, got us 10 extra yards and ate up some time, but not a ton.
Mike, on Trayvion's second touchdown run, we see Drake sprinting down the field and throwing a block. I just want to know your reaction to your quarterback getting out there.
Well, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great that he can run once, first off, and Drake wants to do anything that he can to help this football team. And high screen a guy, and I don't think he needs to trip and fall. I don't think that was necessary, but I think he wants to do anything that he can do to help us win. And that was good to see.
On the final 4th down snap, is that a situation where you tip your cap because of the adjustment that Buffalo made, or was there something that could have been done better from an execution standpoint?
Well, I mean, we didn't get off the release very good, and we weren't able to throw the ball around, a guy that was off spying, and that triggered. But we just didn't execute. But yeah, I mean, somebody executed and somebody didn't, and I thought we would take the ball and go down and score. I was confident in that. Wanted to be aggressive, didn't want to give them the ball back, and then figured, if we could make them kick a field goal, if we didn't get it, we had all 3 timeouts, then we would need a miracle to go down there and get a touch. Not a miracle, but we would have needed to be really, really good to go down and get a touchdown to tie it up. And they got the first down.
I'm just curious, Drake's been so accurate this year, Mike. Did you feel like the weather played into inaccurate moments he may have had this year?
No, I mean, I just think that these are decisions, and you have to understand that there's going to be disguise, and it's going to look differently, probably, post snap, and and being able to come off things and progress. And he'll, I'm sure, tell you all those things. And we'll be back. We'll coach it up, and we'll get back to work.
I was going to say, along those lines, just what do you see of the pass catchers and their ability to uncover how much of that was disguise and the Bills doing a good job?
We have to, continue to run routes. Receivers got a very unique job. We need them in the run game. You have to have them in the run game at some capacity. When we run it, and then when we throw it, they have to be able to recognize man or zone quickly. Talk about expecting man and reacting to zone. And some of those routes change based on man or zone. But their job's to get open and create separation or have great spacing. And their job isn't to decide if they get the ball thrown to them or not. And I know that that's difficult. But for every time that somebody's open, there's usually a time where somebody's not later on in the game. So there's a balance that you wage, and we're going to keep, using everybody. We're going to keep trying to highlight their strengths and things that they do well, and give the quarterback time to find those guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
See you Wednesday, Nicole.
So there you have it. Brave said it. Disappointed? No, not really. Got to do better. I appreciate that. We all have to do better. That's the one point. You get better after these losses. You have to learn from the loss. If you don't learn from the loss, I don't know. But guys, he wasn't discouraged. Guys, was not discouraged. You know what? Make sure I turn that off. There it goes. So we're on to Baltimore now. Patriot fans, y'all know what that means. We're on to Baltimore. We're on to see Lamar and the Ravens. They're up, down, up, down. I don't know what Ravens team we get Sunday night. Braves and King Henry have a relationship. Oh, God, that's going to be fun. Have to try and stop that man on Sunday night. But what a job. But this Buffalo loss was a learning moment for us, because we learned a lot about our team. We learned a lot about our coaching stuff. We learned a lot about everything. And I like what Drake said about the MVP. He asked about the MVP. He said, that's a good award, not knocking it, but I would rather win a Super Bowl. And there's a lot of guys in the locker room that would agree that we would rather win a Super Bowl than to have an individual award. And see, that says a lot, because 2016, 2014, Tom Brady came out and said, we're not just one star, we're a team of stars. It's New England Patriots, baby. That's why on the inside of our jersey it says, we are all Patriots. Henceforth, we are all Patriots. So, with that being said, we're on to Baltimore after a horrible loss. And yes, it was a meltdown. It was a good meltdown. It was one that we needed to get back focused. It was one that got us back on our dean. It's one that, if you are a Patriot fan, you can walk away and hold your head up high, because guess what? You lost to a worthy opponent. You didn't lose to a slouch. And this team, they're resilient. They're fighters. They're not laying down and taking this L and saying, you know what? Nah. No. They're going to fight. This coaching staff, they're fighters. They're going to view the tape. They're going to go over everything. They're going to have this team ready for Sunday night football in Baltimore. Thank you. And our final thought is, football doesn't punish you for making mistakes. It punishes you for repeating them. Championship teams finish games. Patriots had them in their grasp and let them slip. Tough pill, but real talk matters. That's the Patriot Blitz. I'm Jay's Perspective. Stay loud, stay loyal, and we'll break this down even deeper next episode. Stay tuned, stay clutch. This is Clutch Sports Media 365, the Patriot Blitz. Like, follow, and sub up to the channel. Go Pats! Remember that. It's still Go Patriots on this end. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I remind you, like, follow, and sub up to the channel, please. And thank you for tuning in. And remember, Go Patriots. You did. We go!